It's Saturday, it's July 22nd, it's 2023. Um, Linda needed to go to get Lewis pajama pants. So we went to where I grew up, or just around where we used to go shopping, out in Huntington Station. U.S. Postal zip codes 11743, around that area by the Walt Whitman. Just because yesterday I was in Connecticut checking out the Sacred Heart University's new campus, where they have a Discovery Museum and planetarium. Today I was back in New York to where my roots, where I began, were when they first took me to the Glen. Yesterday when I was in Connecticut, I learned about I call it Delta Alpha Gamma for what my purpose is, but I found out that there's something called an Atlas Delta Vulcan. Again, like, these are important. If you're a vertical pilot, it seems important. I don't know about, I'm assuming the horizontal pilot kids, or the ones that need to know things in, like, a paragraph 26, something 26, paragraph 5, and, like, I'll knock your daylights out. Again, I got bragging rights in New York, or so they tell me, and there's a guy by the name of Alvin Bragg at DA level in New York City while I'm here. Today, I also heard on the radio that the kids that are allowed to go to college and graduate school, they wrote a whole bunch of theories about dark matter during this time period where my entire life has not gone according to, like, a plan that I even recognize. So there's this dark atoms they talk about in those theory papers, knowing something went off. Like, if I look at the White House, by a gross visual, like, anatomy look, the vice president is broken. Again, I think she stays at the navel something or other. So at arms, legs, and navels, there's a hotbed of issues. And so and then I'm going back to try to ground myself. This is my currency. This is the Federation and what they look like. This is also the forefathers they gave me. And this is what the United States looks like. But that is not, when I go out, it looks more like the movie Daylights, where they have James Bond 007, but the 15th century version from 1987, where now New York is starting to look like Tangiers rather than its metropolis. Like, if I do a necropolis version for War Theater in an update at Io Me Io, again, like, it's my POV. So I'm watching, here's Thor Ragnarok. We'll go try to keep in order because I only have so many minutes left.
Do you really think it's a good idea to go back to Earth?
Yes, of course. The people of Earth love me. I'm very popular.
Let me rephrase that. Do you really think it's a good idea to bring me back to Earth?
Probably not, to be honest. I wouldn't worry, brother. I feel like everything's going to work out fine.
And in context, I almost feel like that big unspoken something out there in dark matter, whatever, is like this gigantic thing over here. Like the Federation. Like the kind of Federation that puts these notes and reminders out and, like, I don't know, builds this area of consciousness and allowance and has allowed for things to go on. Like, that's what the Federation looks like to me. And, like, right here, oh my gosh, That is what the United States of America feels like in comparison with the whole rest of the Federation system that has the allowance that allowed this to exist in New York. And I'm just watching this because also this weekend is a very big weekend. I have on the Barbie pink. They put out this weekend Barbenheimer, Oppenheimer, and the Barbie dollhouse. I arrived and I met with mortals, with gods, with whatever they want to call themselves, in an upper class, where I really wanted to look like a Barbie. I wanted to look like the Barbie in the movie. I wanted to be kept like the Barbie. I wanted to be that kind of woman. And that somehow has not been able I have not been able to obtain that level of human, ability. And I'm like, it's like the mortals trapped me, Hela, Hela, which, again, I know what level of intelligent beings I was around and what group they were whatever with when they named me Hela, and I, at the time, had no idea what that meant, and I still am trying to figure it out.
I gotta say, I'm proud of you all.
Now, what's interesting is this depiction here, he's got blue. It almost looks like blue blood on his lips. And, like, is that to say that that's what he's out for? Because, again, there's geisha girls, and they're all white, pale, and they've got red blood. But this one's got blue. And I got, like, no 6 foot over. I'm stuck in the mortals who have trapped a god in something like 6 foot under. And they keep trying to pass these two humans off as, like, something edible. And I'm like, no, for a husbandry, they're 6 foot under. There's a problem with, like, the House of Cards and Spades. I'm just saying.
Which has been a huge success. Yay, us. Pat on the back. Pat on the back. Come on. No? Me too, because I've been a big part of it. Can't have a revolution without somebody to overthrow. So, you're welcome. And, it's a tie.
Okay, so that's Thor Ragnarok came out in 2017. This weekend, Good Morning America E232 came out with that Barbenheimer. Oh, but in between, let's just do an update. Hold on a second. CBS 2 News Saturday at 9 a.m. shows they're at the U.S. Postal System in Queens. They're stealing mail, and there's other people on national television. I'm not on national television, but there are people in my local area on See the BS on national television talking about this area, the county, and the U.S. Postal System and how there's theft.
Say we notify Haley.
We don't. More of the green postal relay boxes in our area are becoming targets of thieves.
CBS 2's Elle McLogan takes us to Astoria, where mail is
are becoming targets of thieves.
CBS 2's Elle McLogan takes us.
There's Queens. And that used to be Astor's place. Like when it, like, I mean, I just saw Sikorsky. It was a big name. Glenn was a big name. Fairchilds were a big name. Vanderbilt's, Carnegie, J.P. Morgan was a big name. Astor was a big name in New York for century importance.
Us to Astoria, where mail is repeatedly stolen from the same street corner.
Beneath the Hellgate Bridge in Astoria, an uneasy feeling has settled over a close-knit community.
Now, I'm just doing hella work, H-E-L-A, because things, and we went to the California Kitchen in Huntington Station today. Just before I did the Gap, I checked out some of the models. At the Gap, I took a video, I put it up. I went to Kohl's at Crooked Hill, in Comac. I showed the different model sizes just because my mother was a size much different than what I'm able to obtain just for environmental changes.
A lot of elderly people here and vulnerable people.
Christina Fraioli has lived here more than a decade. She and her neighbors say important mail has gone missing. Utility bills, government checks, even life-saving medication.
The mail had been stolen from the green boxes, and we didn't know what the green boxes were called.
They're USPS relay mailboxes used for temporary storage of letters and packages. A pair at the corner of 23rd Avenue and...
They're relays.
and 21st Street has been targeted.
The guy has the key. He opens both of these, takes out the mail, a car drives up, they throw it into the back of the car, and they drive off.
Apartment security camera footage from multiple afternoons shows a white sack full of mail snatched again and again. Victims found out not from the Postal Service, but by neighborhood word of mouth.
Forget being offered, fraud protection. We're not even being told about this.
Kathleen Jordan subscribes to USPS delivery updates. Emails show incoming letters that never arrive.
And Irene,
I've never even heard that they have a application that you can go. And again, I don't really use technology in that fashion, but nobody's also come around to teach me that that level of technology even exists.
if you're out there, I really appreciate your birthday card, but I never got it.
Though relay box theft is an ongoing problem across the borough, this neighborhood's pleas to the post office, the police, and local officials have gone largely unanswered. Many see it as an equity issue in a diverse working-class area. The NYPD told us they didn't have this incident on file. The U.S. Postal Service denied culpability.
It was never a diverse issue. It was never a diverse area. Not when my relatives were here before I arrived. When they threw me, when I got taken from the Glen and moved back into Queens in 1995-96, then Astoria was at that time, Astoria all of a sudden was no longer like where it used to be. It like there were people calling themselves Greeks that weren't Greek. They weren't even Italian. And they're just 1996, 95, 96, it no longer looked like Astor's Place. It was just, I don't know. It was like the beginning of a huge problem that now is still manifesting. If I do necromancy, to war theater POV.
Directing us to their Postal Inspection Service, which declined to discuss an ongoing investigation, but said in part, vetted victims may be notified.
And I should also mention that while I'm making this message, the United States of America White Office is not functioning in a fair and, it's not working in a fair system. The Vice section no longer looks as the Federation would expect if these are the guidelines, because they went through the effort of making a system where there were visual cues as references, and there's also words like Federal Reserve. These are the reservists. And this is the In God We Trust. I've been today writing along with the Barbie Oppenheimer or Barbenheimer, the Dear In God We Trust, just so all of the inventory notes I've been able to make just this weekend with this big double feature out there and all of the signs and signals that the humans from their mortal perspective are throwing out, and me having this goddess of death, like Hela feature that someone decided to nickname me without instruction as to how to handle it.
Notified in accordance with any active mail theft investigation.
No one has been notified of this.
Locals want to know how they're getting their hands on keys in the first place.
The U.S. Postal Service has to do better. That's the bottom line.
Queensboro President Donovan Richards.
It's not rocket science. They should be looking at...
Whoa, did he say rocket science? No, thanks for mentioning that. He's now, during this broken White House where it no longer is a fair and just system, according to the Federal Reserve notes, key guidelines of what they look like and what they look for. Queensboro president is this gentleman. So he no longer looks like fair and just system for Queens. Same thing with a few others. So I'm just going to make note of this. Then they had this whole AI conversation. I also looked up all of their CEOs and presidents for the ones next to Joe Biden, for who's having this, who got to that scale of ability in this territory. Because, again, we're vertical pilots, horizontal pilots, and then there's a third category like myself. I wasn't even offered a pilot position. Not a boating position, not a pilot position. I don't even know. I mean, I've never even been taught how to fly, but there have been lots of others, mortals, teaching themselves, but they have not taught the god of death how to fly. But they've been sharing a wealth of knowledge amongst themselves, like, I guess, in their flow.
different technologies that they can utilize to ensure the safety of people's mail, especially during a time when people are in financial distress.
With seemingly nowhere to turn and relying on each other for information, the community is left to wonder what exactly of theirs is missing and what will be taken next. In Queens, Elle McLogan, CBS 2 News.
And Elle is our community reporter covering Queens. If you have a tip for her, you can send an email to queenstip@cbs.com.
And she does get action when she does.
Now, she's a national reporter. I'm going to pause this for a second. Here's Good Morning America E242.
I had to get all dressed up for this special segment, right?
You went running. Where's my jacket?
Right. We are back now on GMA, and it's a double feature already taking over the weekend box office. Barbenheimer. Barbenheimer or Barbieheimer? Barbenheimer? Okay, all right. Barbenheimer. Come on, man. Confirmation. All right. And here with how audiences are embracing the budding blockbusters is ABC's Will Gans. Will, good morning to you. I like your suit, but I think I like mine better.
I like yours better, too. Suddenly, I'm not the best dressed man in the building. Thanks a lot for that, Will.
Now, he goes over a couple of double features that have come out within my life frame. I mean, again, I don't really watch the movies, not moving pictures. I don't get catalogs of what's going to be arriving. If there's some kind of, someone's moving the furniture around inside this territory or somewhere else on this island, I have not gotten any alerts. I have not gotten any notices. They have not involved me. And it seems like a crucial, important detail. Also, what they did do is here it says the Lydia Hill and almost looks like Aztec for Association of Science Technology Centers, College of Sacred Heart. They have, look at that, they got something going on there. Then it's the If-Then, the Discovery Center. It also in here, these are ambassadors scavenger hunt, healthcare edition. It says this iteration of the If-Then scavenger with SHU's College, SHU's College of Health Professionals, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging, DEIB Council. I went to go visit them yesterday. Anyhow. So this is, and these are the faces, all women, by the way. They were all able to become scientists and know what kind of scientists they were. I've been in a series of rooms with 8-foot ceilings, and I have not had the same opportunity. nor integration.
Hi Barbie, hi Kens, and hello Oppenheimer. The movie event of the year is officially underway this morning as both Barbie and Oppenheimer hit theaters, with pop culture fans gearing up to see both of them, calling the doubleheader Barbenheimer. The two films bursting into the box office to the tune of $32.8 million in combined sales on Thursday alone. Barbie tickled pink with $22.3 million, and Oppenheimer taking in $10.5 million in preview showings. And that's just the beginning, you guys. In fact, the National Association of Theater Owners is projecting that more than 200,000 moviegoers will see both films back-to-back this weekend. And the Barbenheimer box office blockbuster has translated to internet gold also. Hashtag Barbenheimer racking up 189 million TikTok mentions, complete with mock posters, memes.
We know that.
There's an amazing meme that has these two houses that show the Barbenheimer Barbie release leading up to this moment right here. So the big question for Barbenheimer fans, you guys, which film do you see first if you're seeing both back-to-back? Do you go with the dark, historical, epic Oppenheimer with a 3-hour runtime, or the hot pink Barbie with a runtime of just under 2 hours? What would you guys do?
I mean, I would say I would start with Oppenheimer and end with Barbie.
Yeah.
Right? And on a light note.
But I got kids, which means I'm going to see Barbie first, and then whenever I get around to it, I'll get to Oppenheimer with the 3+ hours.
I don't really do movies.
We're ready here, Will. So anyway, but it's important to point out, this isn't the first time that we've seen two major movies sharing an opening weekend like this.
No, way before Barbenheimer, Die Hard and A Fish Called Wanda dropped on the same day in 1988. And then, of course, Elf and Love Actually dropped on the same day.
Okay, so Elf, right, in someone like, just to get the cat, the Quattro, because I got a POV, at, let's see, cat, Quattro, 4 for golf, and then there's right, okay. They brought out Elf and Love Actually on the same day.
In 2003, and finally, the original Barbenheimer, if you will, The Dark Mama, aka Mamma Mia and The Dark Knight, dropped on the same day in 2008. So, you know, if history is repeating itself again, both films will go on to pop culture infamy.
Oh, yeah. Okay. They're going to be hits. Absolutely. Thank you, Will. Lots of fun.
Thanks, Ken.
And thank you, Whit, for bringing that from home.
I had to do.
So I'm going to try to find the mention with these tech companies and with Biden. And then I'm going to go to the daylights that they put out in 1987 with James Bond. Because again, when I look around New York City, I'm like, whose market did they break? Whose market is this? I go from heat domes to this CBS Saturday morning.
Track all the storms this weekend by watching the Weather Channel on cable or live on your favorite TV streaming devices.
Alrighty, Reynolds, thank you. Artificial intelligence is quickly evolving, but regulation and legislation has lagged behind the fast-growing field. But now the White House has teamed up with the titans in tech to get tough on AI safety. 7 top artificial intelligence companies, including Amazon, Google, and Microsoft.
And most of the people that I looked up when it comes to this AI conversation with those CEOs, with the labels that they put up next to Biden's face, those tech companies, they don't look like Federal Reserve note children or ancestors either. And I noticed at least 2 of them were not even from the interior they were not born inside of the continental United States of America. They were born somewhere else completely. These are really key, crucial facts of importance with where has the money gone? Where has the future gone? Where was my ability to participate and get to something handsome and 6 foot over? I mean, like, there's some real serious problems at so many levels. It's hard to speak God at a mortal realm level.
Microsoft signed a White House pledge on Friday to mitigate the risk of potential harms associated with AI and to help distinguish between the real and the deep fakes. Christina Ruffini is at the White House. Christina, tell us more.
Good morning, Michelle. Well, I am not AI. I'm a real human reporter really standing on the north lawn of the White House. But it's getting harder and harder to tell real life from computer-generated make-believe as the White House lawmakers and all of us really struggle to put guardrails on this technology before it's too late.
These commitments, which the companies will implement immediately, underscore three fundamental principles: safety, security, and trust.
Flanked by the heads of some of the world's leading AI developers, President Biden announced Friday that companies had agreed to voluntary safeguards on the technology, including security testing of AI systems before their release, developing tools like watermarking so consumers know when content is AI generated, and researching the risks AI can pose to society.
Now, here's the companies. And when I look at their CEOs, I don't know what their board of their board of directors looks like. But there's some real key components that don't look American. They don't look North American. Some I can very clearly on their profiles are not American. We're not born American. We're not even born in U.S. territories, some of them. So for real big areas and flags of concern, yeah. But I'm just, again, just making notes of it because I don't know how else or where else to go.
But regulation is already lagging behind technology.
Well, I think the thing I worry the most about is not what machines will do.
And then if I put in their diversity, equity, and inclusion with how were the board of directors even allowed, I mean, asking my forefather, how was the board of directors in the United States of America even allowed to have a CEO that wasn't one of us? That just, it's like taking my inheritance and just handing it over to the not us and just allowing them to do and redecorate however they want. That's what it feels and looks like, which I'm not okay with.
Will do by themselves. But what people, bad actors, individuals, or countries will do with this technology.
Earlier this month, a House Armed Services subcommittee questioned AI developers about the technology's implication for the battlefield.
Everyone's seen Terminator, et cetera, et cetera. What is your assessment of the DoD's ethical framework? I think it's really critical that the United States takes the lead on this topic, particularly as it pertains to ensuring that artificial intelligence is used in accordance with our values.
Then the question becomes, what or whose values?
I think we'll be able to cure cancer and many other things based upon AI.
AI systems are based off human inputs and can replicate or even exacerbate both implicit and explicit bias.
And part of the issue here is what information is going into the machine.
And experts warn that placing too many limits on the technology too early could be counterproductive.
If we rush into regulations that are explicitly designed by this particular use case, we may find that those regulations are not adaptable and flexible to new AI developments.
The other issue is this technology is not being developed in a vacuum, and strategic competitors like Russia and China are developing their own AI systems, and the U.S. wants to make sure it doesn't fall behind. Dana?
Christina, you joked that you are not AI, although some would like to maybe replace us all with AI. They would not be able to say, way to get the Barbie pink memo that I got as well today. AI wouldn't have done that.
Guys, I didn't even think about it. I haven't worn this jacket in months. I think all the marketing has gotten into my brain, and
That's what I said. Exactly. All right.
You both look amazing.
Christina, real Christina Ruffini, not AI Christina. Thank you very much.
Thanks, real.
In other news, former President Donald Trump's...
So now, in order to complete this exercise, this task that they gave with finding, we didn't even find one of them. Looking at their faces, like, this is a great task or exercise, but there's something else going on in the field, which is a real problem. They're calling it amyloids, which are plaques that are coming somewhere from our air, water, or food. And it's changing the protein shapes in our brain and causing a brain fog. That's what the going rumor is that they're talking about on the radio. I have no way to verify that, but I can verify that holding thoughts right now, it is like swimming through a fog at times, and the ability to lose weight is very difficult. I'm going to pause this for a second. And then I'm going to go to the Daylights reference from the James Bond. So this was 1987. And I did catch that he spoke, and it sounded like he said a star. Just for a Nicklaus moment. And again, this one looks very much like some of the other actors in Hollywood. But the Mossad person who came when I was still at the Glen, but he was not allowed on Glenway. So I had to go down to the Rock and visit him for the babysitting job. And then the one where he took me for a ride and told me he had a gun in the glove box. He looked also... while the writing on his card looks Israeli, and he called himself Mossad, and he said he was an artwork dealer, and he showed me the painting of the girl with the pearl earring at that time, and told me that there was someone who was love sick for me. He looked very much like he could have been from this scenery, which they're calling Tangiers. They just re-aired this for whatever reason, the gods in charge of programming. I also went through Scout Life. This arrived in the mail. First edition I've got. I also got I don't read the people, but bourgeoisie, but Linda gets the people just so I have word pattern and some faces to reference if I need be. So there's that. And that's a culmination of what's going on. As far as a health update, they put on a meteorologist from Texas, and he's said that the particulates are at 118, and then he's made it sound like this weekend that was a good thing. And I'm like, and when I was in the car and I took a photo of the radio station for this talk of dark matter that the theorists at the Theory of Physics have been writing all sorts of published papers for which I don't even have access to that level of education or community. On the dashboard, there are these particles that you can actually see. That's the breathable air in New York at this time. I have no idea who or what is being burned or being cloud seeded into the area. I don't know, but I have proof, which I just sampled, of the fact that that's what my breathable portion of air looks like at this point. And it's on the dashboard. It's a black background, and you can see how large the particles are when the meteorologist on the weather is stating this. And I put it on my Facebook. So this is CBS 2 News Saturday at 10 a.m.
Oh, my background didn't work there, so I wanted to show you the air quality alert on the back from that. It's good. It's in the lower category, so that graphic didn't update there for me. But what I can tell you is good weather is sticking around through the end of the weekend. Enjoy, because those showers and storms return going into mid.
That was not good. In fact, if I return on my board,
15 degrees, so that's a sign of the drier air coming in. So when you step outside, not as bad. So your first alert 12-hour forecast showing that we're back to 83 degrees by 1. Partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies. I think it's going to be more sunny to mostly sunny with a northwest wind at 5 to 10. Same story as we go through the afternoon hours, topping out at 85 degrees. I do want to point out other good news for us.
Okay, so he keeps saying it's good news. Oh, here. On the scale, they took the word patterns out. But the orange is not good. It's unhealthy for sensitive people. I have proof of other meteorologists. This particular one is not being honest with the New York public. He's from Texas. I don't know why they made a change, and I don't know why he chose to take the word pattern out. I don't know why they're allowing such things, but it says right here, unhealthy for sensitive groups on the bottom. But he's verbally saying that it's good and it's okay. Makes no sense. Now here's a piece about this congestion pricing and some of the air quality, like the campuses here, their research departments are functioning. Who they report to, I don't know. And why they're so poor at actually getting like better results with all the efforts that they put in and all the useless monetary dollars that they did building this system, I have no idea. Why does it keep getting worse?
New images this morning of a man and woman wanted for a terrifying attack. NYPD releasing.
Here's congestion pricing.
Try to stop congestion pricing.
CBS 2's political reporter Marcia Kramer has more.
The bottom line is that we have to put our foot down to.
And how is this political? Like, again, it's everybody for greater good that lives in the area, for their health, safety, and well-being of themselves and their children. I don't understand how it got this bad and why it has gotten worse with more pollutants, more vehicles, more populations and capacity at some like breaking point.
To protect New Jerseyans.
It's true that Governor Phil Murphy and other New Jersey politicians are furious that the MTA wants to charge Garden State residents to drive into Manhattan Central Business District below 60th Street. But
when I look, like, if you are a federal United States of America recognized person, I can completely understand if you need a vehicle for a day or you have some inspection to do, or you need to drive around, I understand why vehicles exist. For personal luxury use to just anyone, it makes no sense. If you're in New York City, why can you not take a train or some form of public transportation? I mean, on the off chance that you have to do an inspection like I did today, great, then you need a vehicle. But why does this amount and capacity need the ability to have so much personal freedom? I don't understand.
But their first shot at trying to stop the plan in its tracks was aimed not at the MTA and the price tag, but at the Federal Highway Administration and the Federal Department of Transportation.
This is about right and wrong. This is about fundamental fairness. This is about respecting your neighbors. And most importantly, this lawsuit is about environmental protection, protecting every community that is adversely affected.
And because of the congestion tax, come next spring, trucks will be backed up here in North Jersey as far as the eye can see, billowing cancer-causing pollution into the lungs of children in our communities.
CBS 2 video shows the crush of trucks and cars coming from North Jersey into the George Washington Bridge right now. Gottheimer says the MTA's own report shows there will be an increase in particulate matter, nitrogen oxide, carbon monoxide, and carcinogens like formaldehyde in Bergen County when congestion pricing goes into effect. But while the MTA has a robust $130 million plan to mitigate pollution in the Bronx, New Jersey gets nothing.
All of this is in black and white in the report the MTA submitted to the U.S. Department of Transportation that the Department of Transportation decided to summarily ignore.
The MTA has said New Jersey has no standing to challenge congestion pricing. I'm Marcia Kramer, CBS 2 News.
A special honor this morning.
It's Star 1978, Starry at 378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken, and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. I will say to Ned Lamont, who's the governor into the north of where I am, almost as like he's a team leader for his whatever. And this is not to discount Kathy Hochul whatsoever. I mean, she's my state representative, I suppose, but giving a compliment to Ned Lamont because it's much deserved. The Sacred Heart University campus, it looks so beautiful and so opulent, and the people who study there, I mean, being the Discovery Museum and the live science demonstration and just what they have going on at that campus up there, I mean, talk about a blessing for the locals. I mean, it's so clean and beautifully done, and I mean, to have that kind of lifestyle must be like, I mean, to me, it's a very rich type of a lifestyle. To be a family being allowed to be part of that. I've never been gifted that level of wisdom or that ability or opportunity, but it looks like he put together a really nice package. I don't know how, I don't know by whom, but it was very impressive, I have to say.